Hello everyone, and welcome to our video on a large translation problem. So, from the previous video, we just want to make one side note again, is just whenever you see at least, we think something greater than or equal to the number. At most, something less than or equal to the number. Alright, so, and from there, we also want to kind of use categories and break it down. I usually just like to write some words to the side. But let's take care of this. Let's read through it very carefully, and then I'll tell you my strategy to go at it. All right, so on number 1, it says a microwave manufacturer must ship at least 200 microwaves to its 2 West Coast warehouses. Warehouse A can hold at most 120 microwaves, and warehouse B can hold at most 160 microwaves. It costs $10 to ship a microwave to warehouse A and $8 to ship a microwave to warehouse B. Union rules require that at most 900 workers be hired. Shipping a microwave to warehouse A requires 5 workers, while shipping a microwave to warehouse B requires 3 workers. How many microwaves should be shipped to each warehouse to minimize cost? And then it does say what is the minimum cost. All right, so let's use my strategy. I'm looking right at this first, where the first question is. I'm going to underline all of that. There we are. Because this tells me how to set up my variables. So it's saying how many microwaves, so it's asking for the number of microwaves is what's unknown. So those are going to be our variables to wherever they're being shipped to. So how many microwaves should be shipped to each warehouse? All right, the number of microwaves, so let's put it right here. So X, I'm going to say the number of microwaves to, so instead of warehouse A, how about we'll abbreviate a little bit to capital A for warehouse A. And then there's the other warehouse, Y, number of microwaves to warehouse B. Okay, so let's use those as our variables. Okay, and then it is saying to minimize cost. Okay, so to minimize cost, we'll deal with that in a little bit. What is the minimum cost? All right, so we'll have that information soon. All right, but now we're going to break down all of these little pieces in this word problem. Okay, so starting off, let me go ahead and use my black ink still. So this first line, it says a microwave manufacturer must ship at least 200 microwaves to its 2 West Coast warehouses. So at least, so let's box that up in that purple. Actually, let's keep it in the black ink. So either way, let's box it. So at least 200 microwaves to its 2 West Coast warehouses. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, so this seems like, so I see an at least. And then from here, I want to categorize it in some words. So it says a microwave manufacturer must ship at least 200 microwaves to its 2 West Coast warehouses. So I'm going to say, okay, so shipping to both warehouses. Kind of organize it like that. They said at least. Okay, so remember our at least, we got it marked up right here, is always greater than or equal to. So we'll do greater than or, so let's leave a little blank, and then greater than or equal to the number, 200. Okay, and then this 200 microwaves, so note that this is a number of microwaves. So that's how I'm trying to kind of figure out the units with it. Well, our variables are also just number of microwaves. So it looks like we would just do X plus Y greater than or equal to 200. Okay, so that's for that first line. Okay, so that's taken care of. All right, and then when I take care of things on these, I mean, you could leave it underlined. I am just going to highlight it in pink here to say, hey, I've done this, and moving on. All right, so the next line, it starts with warehouse A can hold at most 120 microwaves, and warehouse B can hold at most 160 microwaves. Here I will use some colors. Let's use blue. So I've got warehouse A can hold at most 120 microwaves. And then warehouse B, so I'm using purple for the B stuff, can hold at most 160 microwaves. Well, this first line was also talking about the number of microwaves, but it was combining the 2 warehouses. These ones keep them just separate. So it looks like we've got the shipping to only A is, and we can see they use at most. Okay, so at most is our less than or equal to, and then the 120 microwaves. And then, well, we already have, so they're talking about warehouse A. Let's use X for that portion. So no Y involved in this inequality, just X. So X is less than, so this is the number of microwaves less than or equal to 120 for warehouse A. Again, and you can put these here. I'm just going to put word microwaves. So it is still the number of microwaves, and it's good. Okay, and then we also have, well, I didn't spell shipping. There we go. Let's make it proper. Okay, so shipping to B is that second underlined in purple. So it said warehouse B can hold at most 160 microwaves. At most is the less than or equal to, and then the number is 160. So let me box the at most on there. At most 160. And then B, warehouse B, is talking about our Y variable based on our designation from the beginning. Okay, and again, these are the number of microwaves, so that matches. Okay, and then to kind of verify, so just to talk about just to make sure your inequality is pointed the right way, remember at most means 160 is the most. So if Y is 100, that is smaller than 160, which matches the way the inequality is looking like it should be. So 160 is the most, so Y should be smaller than 160. Okay, and then same deal with the X that we did there. Okay, so let's keep it going. All right, so those are each done. Let me use my highlighter again to show, oh, I've done these. I think I'm done with that information. Okay, then it says it cost $10 to ship a microwave to warehouse A. So I'm going to do cost in blue, or not cost in blue, but this statement for warehouse A in blue. And let's use the purple again for warehouse B information. So it says, and $8 to ship a microwave to warehouse B. Okay, so these are involving cost. All right, so we need more information about cost. Well, let me go ahead and underline one other thing here. Back to the very last line. That might be good to underline. That looks like where the cost will come into play. So it's asking something about cost. Okay, so for now, those are underlined, and I'm just going to move on, though. Okay, so in the next statement, it says union rules require that at most 900, so it does say we've gotten at most, 900 workers be hired. Shipping a microwave to warehouse A, so here's warehouse A information, requires 5 workers. While shipping a microwave to warehouse B, let's use the purple for warehouse B again, requires 3 workers. Okay, so there's some information about workers. Okay, so at this point, I've got, let's go ahead and use black ink again. So it says at most 900. This is about workers, 900 workers. Okay, so we've got, let's put workers. Okay, so the at most, all right, so less than or equal to 900. And then our next statement was the information about the number of workers per type of warehouse. So it said 5 workers for warehouse A, so that's where, again, we would just attach the coefficient to the respective variable. So 5x, and then plus whatever the variable or whatever the coefficient is for the other warehouse, which is y, so 3y. And there we go. And those are based on the workers. Okay, so 5 workers for warehouse A. So if they shipped 2 microwaves to warehouse A, it would require 10 workers. And so it looks like our units are matching as they should for this. And then let me go to my highlighter and say, well, I just took care of that. This started here. Union rules require that at most 900 workers be hired. Shipping a microwave to warehouse A requires 5 workers. So I'm just highlighting all of what we just used. Okay, so it gets a little messy. Let me even highlight that and just to show. Okay, so I've highlighted almost everything to show I've taken care of almost everything. And then back to the question, it said how many microwaves should be shipped to minimize cost. Okay, so here's where, so this is also a variable. We do not know what the cost is, so I'm just going to say capital C. And then the only information about cost is the leftover blank. Let's go ahead and highlight that now in yellow. So here's our cost information. Right there. And, well, it looks like I don't have an inequality for this one because there's no at most or at least. It is just going to be, hey, the cost. So the cost, C, let's put C first this time. So the inequalities, we usually do the variables on the right. But because this has no inequality to it, it's an equals, we will keep it on the left and just say, okay, so 10x plus 8y. And that would match our cost, so $10 per microwave shipped to A. So if we were to plug in numbers, this does represent a dollar amount, and this does represent a dollar amount on the left. So that looks like it's good too. Okay, and so this right here, let's box it up. So those are all of the statements we needed for the translate problem. All right, so we have it. Now, right now, all we're doing is translating. What we will do soon is stuff that would solve this. So when it asks, what is the minimum cost, that's for later. So we will solve stuff like this later on. Okay, but for now, that's it. Let's just make sure we can interpret all of these big statements, and then we'll deal about the future math in the future. Okay, so I've got two others. I'm going to break those apart also in different videos because they can take so long. We'll show kind of maybe different coloring and how to break it down. So it gets messy, especially the way that I do it, but I think if we do break it down in those steps, and I think if you do use the colors, I mean, it looks really bad up here now that we're done, but I think it is useful to fill in all these little pieces as you go based on breaking it into those colorful pieces. All right, but if you could do it in a different way, I mean, that's fine as long as you could do it. Okay, so that's it. If you do have questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.